Today's episode is sponsored by our good friends at Famous Faces and Funnies located in Melbourne, Florida. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, as well as Docking Bay 94 located in Boca Raton, Florida. Check us out on comicsandgames.com. And EGS Expert Grading Services, the Gen X place to get your comics graded and encased. Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of Codename New to Vero 2. Hi, I'm your presenter, Shabu Are You. Today, we're going to look at issue number 284. Now, if you've been following along with me, much hyped Sherlock isn't the only new character that has been introduced since issue number 282. There are 4 new Joes out there, including new baddie El Cobra. I have a feeling that there is a reason for these subtle introductions. In the twilight of his writing career, Larry Hama is preparing G.I. Joe for a new generation. Now, the bigger picture is twofold. Number one, comic collecting is on the rise, almost returning to early 90s level status, And also, with the SnakeEyes movie, the time is right to bring in new readers and more younger audience. And just like the 12-inch G.I. Joe fans, we old school fans have to be willing to embrace all of these new changes. I'm just going to add, I actually enjoyed the SnakeEyes origin movie. Going in, I knew about all the differences, but again, I kept in mind 2 major factors only real, true G.I. Joe fans will see. Number 1, G.I. Joe has always been about a collection of diversity. Men and women of different backgrounds coming together for a greater good. And number 2, the core values of G.I. Joe is very much relevant, and life lessons of this iconic franchise instills is worth passing down to a new generation. The 12-inch guys got it and embraced us real American hero kids back in 1982. Now it's our turn. As a lifelong fan and a G.I. Joe YouTuber for the past 4 years, I remember how there were not many of us on social media. Now people are jumping on the bandwagon. But what is terrible is how I've seen certain quote-unquote fans wish for this movie to flop because SnakeEye's background is different or what have you. But recall back in 1982, that was the beauty of this character. He can be anybody, even you, even me. It's not a perfect movie. But who the hell's expecting an Academy Award? You don't bail on your favorite NFL team just because they drafted an offensive lineman versus the star quarterback from the Miami Hurricanes, right? And again, the end goal is for G.I. Joe to live on after we're dead and gone from this earth. And I really think the values that G.I. Joe imposes upon us is worth giving to a new generation, because we've seen all the craziness that has happened with social unrest and all this other nonsense. Okay, and like we do with every comic recap, we look at the cover variants. I elected cover B only this time, but there's a little bit extra, more variants this month because of the IDW convention that they're having. And if you see on the bottom, that's actually a list of the new Joes. So they're making their first cover appearance right there in this IDW exclusive cover. But I also like the RI cover as well. I think that's pretty well done of Sherlock. So we're going to just dive into issue 284. And again, Sherlock takes center stage as she teams up with OG favorites Roadblock, Chuckles, and Lady J as they are in pursuit of El Cobra. And we get introduced to a new Joe named Malto as they sift through a known El Cobra hideout. Now, they must have just missed these bad guys as they notice warm takeout food sitting there. And they also notice this drum that's sitting in the corner. When Sherlock asks, has anybody from the bomb disposal unit checked it out? She gets a response that no, they haven't. She immediately tells people, run, get the hell out of here frantically. And they do just in time. Prior to vacating the premise, Sherlock was able to bring along the pizza box that El Cobra used. Now, thinking that they could visit the pizza shop and question the pizza shop owner and maybe there is a credit card transaction as well. Chuckles also pulls the walkie-talkie left behind and is sending it over to forensics to check if there's a saliva match or possible DNA match. Now, I'm beginning to wonder if El Cobra is an actual new character or an existing bad guy using a new identity. And the only possible match could be Major Blood, because he's just as ruthless to his own men as El Cobra is. Speak of the devil, we finally catch up to El Cobra at the local airport, frantically instructing his goons to wipe all electrical data whatsoever. They're using a bogus freight cargo business to get clearance to try to fly out of the country immediately until a custom inspector comes on board. El Cobra has no time and just simply offs the dude. He then dispatches 3 thugs to go and deal with the Joes visiting the pizza shop. The pizza shop owner is willing to identify El Cobra as a customer that he had recently. When his goons pull up to conduct a drive-by, New Joe Malto shows his worth as he saves Lady J's life when her gun gets jammed. Black Hat, another New Joe of Indian heritage, I'm proud to say, was successful in tracing the credit card back to Springfield. They also realized that, they matched the logo on the car that the bad guys use to a logo at the hangar of the airport. And it means Naugue, which literally means cobra, I think in Portuguese. The Joes arrive at the hangar only to discover the customs officer dead with the gunshot to his head, and also all of his clothes have been removed. They also noticed a couple crates in the corner, and they were asking, what is this all about? When Sherlock says, again, run, get out of here as fast as you can. Yup, this El Cobra is ruthless. He's just blowing everything up in his path. This El Cobra is always 2 steps ahead of our Joes, using these explosions as a kind of a diversion tactic to make sure the Joes are always 1 step behind, and we'll see that later. It's really a mind game between him and Sherlock. And she realizes that the next best place to use that customs agent inspector uniform that he stole is probably going to be at the docks. Sure enough, that hunch pays off as they discovered that Naguya Cobra name on a cargo container, and inside they find the 3 missing nuclear warheads that they're trying to get out of the country. Chuckles, who is still at the airport, discovers that someone is using that slain inspector name to board a flight out of the country. So Lady J and Sherlock haul ass back to the airport, brief their version of TSA in that fictitious country. Lady J goes into the plane posing as a stewardess. She rolls up her cart to seat 18C, pulls out her pistol, only to discover another man. Apparently, El Cobra paid this gentleman a large sum of cash to trade his passport and ticket to Manila. And that flight left 20 minutes ago. So obviously the TSA of Manila is waiting for this flight to arrive, only to discover another guy who did the same thing, swap his tickets and passport to El Cobra. Finally, we find that El Cobra has made his way to fictitious Amara Wapur, looking for a little business and pleasure. Man, I want to know what this dude is up to. Who in the hell is he? I think he is a seriously legitimate new bad guy, and so far he has succeeded in what no other villain has done in G.I. Joe before. So let's stay tuned and see where this unfolds. And it's kind of nice, all these new characters. It's just a nice way to introduce them. Well, this is Shabu Are You signing off.